Hello everyone, it's so hot in here today. I don't know if the fan is making too much noise. So chat. Nick at language. I can't see anything, I'm blind. Just a moment. Language guy from Canada. Alright, here we are. Let me pin this. Alright, Nick, so today we'll be talking with Nick, my fellow language learner. Talk to you. So today I had said that I would be talking to today. Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. What about you?
Oh, pretty good. I have a bit of a headache right now. I just put some kind of headache stuff on my head, so my head might look a little greasy, but that's why.
Oh, that's okay. I don't know if I can hear you well. I think I'll get a phone. Okay.
Okay.
Just a sec. I'll get a phone.
Okay.
All right, I'm back.
Right.
It's very nice to be talking to you. I just decided to start doing that, talking to people from the polyglot community, and also teachers, English teachers, and language learners. This is so exciting, but I could only start doing this now because I have more time now. I don't know about you. How is your life now in the end of the year? Is it busy or less crazy?
First off, your English is really good.
Oops.
I can hear you really well.
Yeah, now I can hear you.
You can hear me now? Okay. Your English is really good, first off. I'm impressed with your progress in Polish, too. It's always awesome to see you. And
thank you.
Yeah, so I actually just went to like a college kind of seminar, if you want to call it that, to kind of determine what I want to do in terms of languages with my studies. So I'm thinking I'm going to take Spanish, French in university, and maybe try to do Arabic as well. But
Nico, wait. Let me interrupt you a little bit. Go back a little bit, rewind a bit,
Sure.
and tell us, why did you start? You really love languages. You speak a lot of them. And how did it start? Was it in high school? Were you learning Spanish in high school?
No, actually, I just started learning Spanish about 2 months ago. So it's only.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm actually like I'm pretty much still a beginner in Spanish, but yeah, I've just been slowly building my vocabulary, and I find the comprehension comes pretty quickly when it comes to because it's effective to listen all the time, and I like listening a lot.
Okay.
From sorry, when I started learning, I was in grade 9, so my first year of high school is when I started learning French more in depth. Like, I took it for many years in public school, but it was never really an interest of mine. I just I don't know, it was just another subject in school, and it wasn't really anything that I seen any worth in pursuing. But I decided when I got to grade 9 that I had a really good French teacher. He was a Portuguese speaker, actually. He was from Portugal, and but he speaks I think 5 languages, like being
wow.
Yeah, so it was impressive. His English is really on point, a lot like yours, and and yeah.
So he was an inspiration for you. Was he an inspiration for you?
I would say so, yeah. Like, I definitely look up to Mr. Broom, his name is, and he's a really nice guy. And also, I just kind of the people I've met along the way have been, it's always been motivating to keep kind of, keep going, learn some other language a little bit. I don't know, I don't know a ton of languages at this moment right now, but I have a ton on my list, and I'd like to really get it.
Wait a moment. So tell us a little bit, introduce yourself again. There are some people arriving now. So tell us your name, where you live, where you're from, and things like that.
Sure. I'm Nick. I'm from Canada, and I am 17, and I live in a little town not too far from London, Ontario. It's about 2 hours from Toronto, so if you think about that in retrospect, it's not too far for me to go to Toronto, but I don't go very often. So I'm more of a small town kind of guy, and in a English-speaking region, so everyone around here is English-speaking. We do have a fairly big immigrant population, and they speak a ton of languages, which is always good because when I'm at work, I can usually speak a lot of language. I can at least practice a little bit.
Oh, so you are working? You work?
I do, yeah. I'm a cashier.
What do you do?
I'm a cashier at like a drugstore. So I basically just yeah, it's pretty easy job, but I get to meet different people. Usually, briefly, I have brief interactions in a few different languages a lot of the time. Sometimes I do meet a lot of Polish people, which would be...
Really, you do? Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's surprising.
So are you learning Polish?
And now,
have you learned Polish?
No, I can't say anything. All I know is every time I meet a Polish person, I always say, I know cześć. And then they... Oh,
yeah, I was going to teach you that, but you already know that.
they laugh at me, but yeah. Yeah, so it's usually just Spanish, and all the Italians and the Spanish people I've met along the way have been always really nice, and sometimes they get, they're a little surprised when like especially the Chinese and when I speak a couple words of Arabic, they get, like they're really surprised, like, oh really, like you want to learn Arabic or you want to learn Chinese, and I always, I try to keep
that's so cool. But wait a moment. So I know that besides English, French is spoken in Canada, but only in certain areas.
That's right.
So not where you live.
No,
not in Toronto.
No, there's little pockets of French-speaking communities around Ontario, but where I live for the most part, it's all English. It's you're more likely to come across a Spanish speaker or a Portuguese speaker than speaker. Although I do have a few friends nowadays around where I live that speak French, so I can practice with them from time to time. But yeah, 95% of the time it's English, or I can find a Spanish or Portuguese speaker. But it's weird because our government has made a lot of changes to try to get people to be more bilingual, like increase the want to learn the other language, whether you're French speaking or English speaking. But I find that that's not going to help. You need to do it in a more encouraging way.
Organic way.
Exactly. And not
forcing people to.
Right. And not just throwing money at it because it's just a big waste, I think. But in Quebec, especially like in Montreal and Quebec City, there's a lot of bilingualism. Most people can speak both languages. But unfortunately, where I live, it's usually it's the mentality that, oh, well, I'm English speaking, so I'm not going to learn the other language, and that's kind of a stance of defiance, if you wanted to say that, in regards that it's, I'd rather learn a lot of English speakers, if they're somewhat interested in languages, they would rather learn Spanish because they say, oh, it's more useful, or, I don't know.
So Spanish would be more useful than French, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you know other polyglots who live near you? Is there a meetup,
I forget his username.
No?
I forget his username, but there's one guy from Canada. He's from Toronto area, I believe. but I haven't had the chance to really talk to him much. I think I sent him a message one time and we chatted, but that was about it. So, but yeah, I don't think there's too many polyglots around here that I know of anyway. I'm sure there's lots that are super humble about it and all over over on like Instagram or online in general, just constantly uploading stuff, but more just it's the way they've grown up and that's kind of what they've gotten used to. So that it exists too, and I kind of respect that, the more humble approach to that. Yeah, so it's I don't know.
Let me just read a comment here. So Polyglot 23 says London, maybe he's from London, went there once and confused the girl at McDonald's with American money because she didn't know how to convert it.
Oh yeah. Well, good thing is here in Canada we take American money, but the Americans don't take Canadian money. So yeah, it's kind of funny actually. We're super welcoming. We're super, I don't know. If you think of Canada, we're basically our stereotype. So,
Nick, are there many Brazilians where you live, or no? Have you met any Brazilians?
No, actually.
Really?
Yeah, the most. Oh no, that's not true. That's not true. Actually, the other day I did meet one nice Brazilian lady. And she had an accent, and she was surprised because I was at work, and I asked her, I was like, do you speak another language? Usually when I hear people with an accent, I'm like, do you speak another language? And like, I know they do, but I want to see what they'll say. So she's like, well, that was quick. Like, you're quick to ask. You obviously knew I had an accent. And like, she was surprised, but she was really nice, actually. We had a really nice conversation. But
Nick, by the way, how do you feel about accents, about Brazilians or any other non-English speaking person speaking English? How do you feel when a person has an accent? What do you think about that?
I think it's great because I know that they're speaking my language, but they speak another language. Like, from a language lover's perspective, it's really cool because I like the fact that they can usually, it's not a problem. That's what I want to get across to, is that you have an accent, especially as English speakers. I'm sure there's lots of other groups around the world where there's tons of accents that exist in the language, just where it's a lingua franca, where a lot of people speak it just to communicate. English especially, it does not matter if you have a strong accent, we'll be able to understand you perfectly. Yeah, I would say accent's just something that'll come naturally, and it's not really a big problem for most people.
I have the impression people who are too concerned about accent are usually people who haven't really started learning language, because once you start learning languages, one or more, you realize pretty fast that accent is the least, the last thing you should be concerned about, right? And it's very exciting to be able to connect with another person with whatever accent you have, to be able to communicate like we're doing now, right? You understand me, I have an accent, you understand me, and everybody has an accent, right? Everybody has an accent in the end. So I like to talk about this because I feel sometimes that people here in Brazil have a little bit of low self-esteem, and they lack a little bit of confidence. They're afraid of speaking. They're very shy because of that, because they feel, they have an accent. But this should not be a barrier, right?
Exactly. Perfection is not a realistic goal either, because like even if you have a good accent, you like really pronounce the sounds well, which I think I do in French. It's the intonation and just being able to talk like a native speaker without really thinking. It's not like, it's a good thing to aspire to, but it's not something that you should concern yourself with. Like, you don't have to be perfect in the way you talk too, like the way you convey your thoughts. It's not, because I think that like people can have a perfect pronunciation because we can all make the sounds with our mouths and
Yes.
all that. But to talk like a native speaker is different because you have to really be on your game, if you know what I mean. Like you have to, you just have to be quick on your native speaker because they don't have to think when they talk. But
Nick, and so another person, Carlos. Carlos is a friend. He's learning English, and he's a polyglot too, by the way. And he asked you, how many languages can you speak, or how many languages are you learning, right?
Sure.
So what are the languages?
So I will be starting with Portuguese on January 1st, but I don't speak any really right now. I know a couple phrases.
This is a goal for 2019.
Yes, that's right. And
this is awesome. Yeah, actually, I want to tell everybody here to follow Nick. So his account is Language Guy from Canada. This one here. This is correct, right, Nick? The information here that is pinned. Yeah, so follow him. He's going to learn Portuguese. He will need help. He will be talking to you, sending you messages on Instagram. Okay, so go on with the languages, and then we'll talk more about Instagram.
I probably should have ended with that, but I speak English, obviously, my first language, and then I speak French pretty well. I actually just had I was met up with my French teacher, and we usually meet up every week, more or less, to practice speaking because we're good friends too. Like I like talking to her, and also my Italian's pretty good. You know, I wouldn't say I'm, not like super high level or anything, but
it's good.
It's not too bad. And then the Spanish is what I'm working on right now. So it's been about 2.5 months maybe. I'm not sure exactly, but I think it's been about that. And so that's what I'm working on right now. But in the past, I was more of a dabbler. So I would just I kind of respect that style too, where you can just like learn a language for a couple weeks and like try to learn as much. Because it kind of keeps the learning interesting too. So but I did study a little bit of Romanian, some Dutch fairly extensively, but I forget a lot of it now. But I watch a lot of Dutch YouTubers, which I really recommend.
Which YouTubers do you recommend? Like in any language? I don't know.
Sure.
One or two.
For French, I really like Français Authentique, which is
me too.
Yeah, I like. He's a really good guy. Français avec Pierre is another channel which I like. If you're more of a grammar based learner, I would recommend Learn French with Alexa. I believe her name.
I love her. Now she's been doing Frenchmas, the days before Christmas. And the videos are so funny. She's inviting people. I don't know who those people are, but it's very funny. I recommend that too. Yeah.
And then for the more like entertainment side of things for French, I really like Normand fait des vidéos, which is another channel. I can probably leave a comment here too. I can put them here. That's a big problem too with learning a bunch of languages. You have too many keyboards. I'm sure you know that feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So it's in the comments. Normand fait des vidéos. It is a good channel. I don't watch a lot of sorry, I just want to get this.
Polyglot 23 saying that he thinks Michigan is taking Canadian money. How? What's the relationship? I have no idea what's going on there.
I don't know if I want to talk politics on here. Maybe a bad idea.
Okay. Because I'm totally out of the loop here. So, Nick, let me just see if there is Katarina. Yes, hello everybody who is here. Let me see if there is something else. Did you learn any new Arabic phrases?
A little bit. I know who said that too. It's my friend Omnia. Shout out to her. But yeah, a little bit. I mean, not too much. I can say I'm learning Arabic. أنا أتعلم العربية.
Cool.
Not very good, but stay every
I like that. I like to listen, even if I don't understand a word. I like the sound. You know, I think so interesting.
Yeah, that's a good approach. And the yeah, just more phrases that I would work. So I want to learn my transaction, like my the questions I asked every customer, because it's pretty systematic what I say to them, so I can just, like, I haven't really worked on it intensively for Arabic yet because I haven't got it all down, but like I can do it my job in Spanish, Italian, Dutch, probably, English, what else? There's gotta be another one. I like speaking Russian at work. I don't have very much option. Like
Russian, you know Russian?
I don't know it well. It's one.
Nick, Carlos is asking us to speak a little bit in Spanish. My Spanish is portuñol. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
He hablado un poco en español hoy con un amigo porque es muy gentil, y sí, hoy fue la primera vez de hablar en español con Louis,
con ella.
Sí. No puedo hablar
ello
en español. Al momento necesito practicar y estudiar más, pero cuando escucho todos los días, diré que no acento es más natural, así.
Sí.
Como todas las cosas en la vida, aprende el tiempo para preparar, y es importante de ser paciente, no sé.
Sí, muy paciente.
Muy paciente, sí. Pero sí, necesito como entrar más de las cantones españoles, porque sé que hay muchos cantones bonitas en español.
Bonitas, sí. Ajá. ¿A ti te gustan las películas? ¿Las películas en español?
Sí.
¿Sí?
La mayoría de las veces me gusta mirar las películas, las series de Netflix, como Narcos Mexicano al momento.
Sí.
Es muy interesante, es muy, como dice,
no puedo ayudarte, no sé, mi vocabulario es muy cortito, pero estoy asistiendo a una película maravillosa, se llama Roma. ¿Has escuchado?
Sí.
Roma.
Sí,
es maravillosa. En Netflix.
Sí.
Es muy larga, 2 horas, un poquito más de 2 horas. Entonces asisto algo como 30 minutos por día. No tengo tiempo para asistir a todo, pero es muy buena la película, sí.
Muy chulo. Echaré un ojo cuando tengo bastante de tiempo para hacerlo, porque
con él.
Sí, sería muy interesante cerco las cosas siempre para ver, y en español
Sí, sí.
principalmente,
Sí.
y también en italiano, porque hay, hay algunas cosas a mirar su TV, las cosas como los informaciones y a los
Sí.
cosas así, pero me
Ajá.
gustaría ver las cosas más per el placer y las cosas que me interesan.
Sí, sí, claro. Carlos is saying, wow, that's awesome. You nailed it. You speak very well in Spanish, and I can understand you clearly. So actually, what you're doing here is what I wish Brazilian English students did more, like trying to say things, because that's what you're doing here. You're practicing, you're trying to engage, right, your knowledge and use it in a real life situation here, and this is really great. Tell me about. Go ahead.
Es como elegir su vocabulario activo, porque para ser capaz de tener una conversación con un hablante nativo es importante hablar y escuchar mucho todos los días las cosas que se interesan, muy importante.
Sí, sí, sí. Nick, so I was taking a look at your account, and you started your Instagram account this year in April.
Sí.
At the same time as me, the same time. I started mine in April too, and for me it was revolutionary. It changed the way I practice and learn languages by making those videos, right? And you do the same thing. You record a lot of videos to practice. So tell me about that. Your approach to language learning, your strategies, your routine. What do you do to learn? What works for you?
For sure. I gotta say that this 30-day record yourself challenge is working out for me. I really like it, and I'm looking forward to his part 2. I'm sorry, I forget his name. You guys know what I'm talking about. And
is it Jonathan? No.
No, the guy from Wisconsin.
Oh, the other guy, yes, Jinkum.
Too many accounts.
Something like that. Is that his name or surname? I never know.
Not sure. We'll just go with the 30-day record yourself guy. So so I really like this challenge, and I'm gonna try to make more videos to post on my page, because like beforehand I was kind of just posting whenever, but this challenge kind of jump started me to like practice more speaking in videos too. So it's good to not just speak without like without getting feedback too. Like it can be helpful, but it's good to also get the native speaker's outlook on things too at the same time. And so my approach to it, I wake up every morning, and I always, before I do anything else, before I check social media, which I think is a good point, because it can get really distracting at first. I like to, I use Link, the app Link, which I'm sure you've heard of before. And
do you use the free version or the paid version?
Free version.
Yeah, me too. One day, who knows, I'll pay for it, because it's really good.
There's no, for me, it's enough for me right now anyway, but maybe in the future, when I take more languages at once. But so I use the free version every day. I read at least 3 to 4 stories in each language. Three usually when I have like if say I don't have enough time to read 4, I'll at least read 3. Of my, like, I just kind of pick them randomly on Link in French, Spanish, Italian. So whatever language I started with the night before, I would have ended with the night before. So I would do the opposite order. So when I started the morning, so say I was learning Spanish, then French, then Italian, I would start with Spanish the next morning, and then Italian, and then French. Because French, I know, like, I'm more confident with French, so I would leave it to the end, so it kind of tests my memory a little bit, and then I can really like get jump.
But how do you use link? Do you just listen first and then you read, or you do it together? How many times do you repeat many times, or no? How do you use it?
Well, I like I don't mind repetition. It doesn't bore me really. Start with the stories, the most basic stories in Spanish right now that I can find. So the stories, like the mini stories, the actual mini stories there's a lot of repetition. Yeah. But also I really like in Italian, Italiano automatico, and his stories that he.
That's a podcast, right?
Yeah, it is
a podcast. Yeah. Okay.
A ton of material and link of his transcriptions, so that's really helpful. And I usually about 2 of those in the morning, and then at night I also read. I'll read at night, but we'll get to that in a minute. Okay. So I read with primarily using link, or I'll find stories online to read in French because my level's a little higher, so I have more available to me. So my focus in the beginning is to increase vocabulary, and I like to listen a lot, so like while reading. So like that's why I like link, is because you can, listen to it a bunch of times, and then when you feel comfortable to start speaking, even if you're just by yourself, so there's no harm in making mistakes. You can always, I usually listen to one story about 5-10 times before depending on how difficult it is, before I start speaking, or sometimes if I have already listened a lot using podcasts, which I do after I read in the morning. I also, so if I feel confident enough to speak, I'll just read them, out loud to myself, or I'll kind of mix both of them. So I listen to it a couple times, go to another story, read that one out loud, go back to the other one, listen to it. That's kind of my I don't know, my routine of what. Yeah,
routine. Yeah.
Yeah. And then typically that's when I start. When I'm making my morning coffee, I like to listen to my podcast, so I'll put on my headphones. I listen as much as possible, usually about an hour each language every day if possible. Sometimes I have work or other things that come up that I have to do, then I won't be able to listen. But usually I can get in about an hour a day, because it's surprising how much dead time that you have in a day, and time can actually be utilizing your time instead of maybe doing nothing, if that's what you are used to doing. So yeah, I try to do my best to listen as much as possible during the day, and that takes up the majority of my study time. When I do, like, the listening for me is already a routine that's like set in stone for me. I do it every day, but also about maybe 2-3 times a week I like to review flashcards. And for some people it's really boring. For me, I don't mind it. And then I'll either try to use those words in conversation if I can with a native speaker, or I'm fine with speaking with non-native speakers. It doesn't bother me, because if I'm into enough material with native speakers, the accent won't affect my accent or anything.
Yeah, same.
And what was I saying?
Yeah, you were saying that you listen to, you use the vocabulary by talking to native speakers or non-native speakers, right? To use the words, vocabulary.
Yeah, and also write out some phrases using the words I'm finding difficult to remember. It's easier. That's not really, but I would take the words and put them in phrases that I know I would use in conversation. So say I use the words right away because there's no native speaker around or no one to talk to in general, face to face, because it's easier to remember a word if you're saying it versus if you're typing it to someone. But the main idea is I think of the phrases, how would I use this word in my native language? What in the most frequent way? Like, when I'm speaking, when do I use this word? And then I would take that phrase and using the words that hopefully I've already accumulated through listening and reading and looking at words, I use word reference for that. And Lingui is another site that's not too bad. I don't use it that often, but it's also useful. And so I take these words, I make the phrases, and then when I do have a chance to, when I know I'll be meeting with someone, like here, for instance, say I was meeting with a French speaker or, you know, Italian speaker or whatever, I would, you know, review some phrases that I know I could be able to use, and then that's how I kind of get the passive vocabulary into my active vocabulary, and that's how I start to memorize words, because my biggest problem is definitely vocabulary. And I think
yes. Do you practice every day?
I do. I do everything.
Every day.
Yeah, I do all the 3 languages that I'm studying right now. So Spanish, French, and Italian. I do them every day, and if I can't per se study them, I listen every day. So when people say like, "Oh, I study languages," like for me, I don't feel like I'm studying. I feel like I'm just being exposed to the language more than studying it, which for me is a good idea, and it's like it's a smart approach. But I'm not like a grammarophobe. I don't know how you say that, but like, I don't know.
Oops, the connection. Let's wait a little bit. Let's see what happens. If he's coming back. Yeah, this is interesting because it's kind of hard actually also to meet someone who studies every day, every single day. This is what I say. This is what I do actually. I don't think yeah, I need to, maybe it was the connection. But I actually want to ask this. I want to ask him this. Because I think that what he was saying, Nick was saying, is that he practices all the 3 languages in the same way, in the same, he spends the same amount of time, and they all have the same way, right? In my case, for example, I have one main language, which is Polish, which means that I spend more time with it. And then, and actually, how could I say, the most important kind of time, when I'm more alert, less tired, and, you know, I will study Polish. But then if I get tired, you know, and I will start listening to songs in other languages, and maybe reading a little bit, surfing the internet, taking a look at posts. Let's try again. I'm going to ask him this. And yeah, I do that because Polish. Hello again?
Sorry, my phone died.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I was saying, I've put my words into phrases, and that's basically how I learn more vocabulary. Yeah.
Have you ever used Anki?
No, actually, I downloaded it once, and I just found the layout kind of complicated. I don't know, maybe it's not. I just didn't spend a lot of time on it, but I found I use Chegg, which is different flashcard app. It's called CHEGG, Chegg. CHEGG. Okay. Yeah, try to remember that, but
it sounds Gaelic. I don't know.
Different. Yeah,
maybe a different word.
I think there's a paid version of it, but I use the free version, as do I Link, and it works perfect for me because you can hear all your like all the playback of the words you're listening to is really precise too. Like the accent's really on point, and the
hello, teacher student. Oh, I'm just saying hello to someone here. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Nick. Let me ask you something. So you don't have, I was, while you were recharging your phone, I was telling people that I have a main language, which is Polish, And then when I feel tired and so on, I listen to music or something else in the other languages. And I also listen, for example, podcasts. I listen to podcasts in the morning too, like you. But the first one has to be in Polish. And then I listen to it in Polish, and then I listen to, if I have time, I listen to other podcast episodes, right, in other languages. But I always prioritize Polish. Do you do that or no? It's the same thing for all the languages for you. It's the same way.
More or less, yeah. Like I make sure to, because I have different goals for each language. So my Spanish, my French, I really want to be like native level. Like that's my goal. And I'm not quite there yet, even with French, and I have to study a lot more vocabulary and all that stuff, and just kind of make it more.
Is there a reason why you chose these languages? For example, my case, Polish, there was no reason. When people ask me, I say, no, there was no reason. That was the first language that I heard when I decided to create my Instagram account. In your case, is there a reason?
Yeah, I respect that approach. I like the idea that you totally love a language for no reason, because I'm like that in certain ways. But for me, I chose French because I figured, I don't know, there's not enough people around here that are bilingual that want to learn French, and I am French too, like it's part of my background, and that was a big push, but my whole family is English speaking.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe it was a deep down cultural thing that I wanted to learn English or learn French, but the Spanish, I love the sound of Spanish, and Italian is more just trip oriented. I just wanted to learn it so I could go on my trip, feel comfortable, and just talk with the Italians because they're great people and they have a beautiful country. As far as the other languages, they've been more just kind of interest. Depends on language, because like Arabic for me has been it's been a language that I've been more driven by the people that I've met through Instagram primarily, because I get talking with them like, oh, I want to learn some Arabic then, and then which kind of distracts me, but at the same time I like the distraction because it's still the same result where you're meeting with new people and you get to enjoy a new language, which I really like. But the push for me to learn Italian, I don't know. I just like it. At first I wasn't a big fan of it. I knew I liked Spanish way more, and before I even started really in depth with French, I knew I wanted to learn Spanish too. So for me, I was just kind of drawn to Spanish, but the Italian just kind of came when I realized that. I was like, oh, we're going on a trip and we're going to be able to actually go there. That's awesome. And then I was like, all right, well, I got to add Spanish and Italian in there too, because it's going to be... Yeah,
because actually these are all Romance languages. They are related somehow. It's very important, right? The Romance languages are very important. Yeah. And French, Spanish, and Italian, and now Portuguese. Yes. So do you feel that learning, these Romance languages one after the other, it becomes a little easier, right? At least to guess certain things because of the lexical similarity, right?
No, for sure. I like I like how the languages differ, because I don't know. Some people, it might be boring to them to kind of learn the same structures and a lot of the same vocabulary over and over again. And to me, to some extent, that's true. Like, I like to definitely change it up soon, and I plan on learning Chinese after Brazilian Portuguese, and that's going to be interesting, and that'll definitely really change up things. But for the meantime, I'm really enjoying the Romance languages, and Portuguese and Spanish are probably my favorite of all of them that I know of anyway. I know there's lots of other more regional languages, but I really like Catalan, French.
Yes, I like it too. I love Catalan. I think it's so cute. I was watching that series Merli. Do you know Merli on Netflix? Yeah. And I was going to ask you if you use Duolingo. I use Duolingo. I'm an addict. Everybody knows. And I finished the 3 before Duolingo had 5 levels. I finished the Catalan 3, and I thought it was so cute. And now watching the series and listening to Catalan, because I was telling someone else that I can recognize Portuguese there, French, Italian, Spanish, yeah, all these languages. It's very cute. I really like it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful mix, definitely. I like to, the history of it kind of interests me, just the cultural separation in Spain.
Yes.
Between the two, I really like that. I like to learn more about both sides. And that's kind of why to start with Castellano, like Spain Spanish, because I like Spain, but then at the same time I realize that there's a ton of hay muchos países bonitos y maravillosos al Sudamérica.
Sí. Sí.
Entonces probablemente cambiaré mi acento castellano porque he pensado que el acento estándar es el castellano, pero en realidad no es verdad, porque en Sudamérica hay muchos acentos distintos y igualmente más entendiendo a la escala mundial.
Good job! Wow, that's fantastic. Very good. By the way, there is a question that I always ask everybody, especially you that makes videos. How did you, was there ever a barrier for you to speak? Like, have you ever felt shy before, you know, the first foreign language you learned, and starting to speak that language? I don't know how it was, if it was like you were talking to yourself or to somebody else, because people feel very shy. So how did you overcome that? Or I don't know, maybe you didn't feel that way, so shy?
I would say it depends, because once you, I can't stress this enough, once you read and listen a lot, you'll feel a lot more comfortable with yourself and the way you're speaking, because you'll have these patterns in your head, and you'll know that what you're saying is right and it'll sound right to you.
Yes.
That'll help a lot, because there'll be less guesswork with what when it comes to what you're saying, because you'll be confident in yourself that, no, this is how it sounds, because I know that I'm saying it. My brain knows I'm saying it right because I've heard it repetitively. And so that really helps with shyness. Obviously, some people are more shy than others, and others are just more like talkative and stuff. I would say that the languages that I'm less comfortable in, I tend to be more reserved in. But I know that just comes with time. You know, I'll be my full self and talk like how I do in English in any other language that I want. I just got to put in the time and the effort.
Yes. How do you think your videos have been helping you? How have they been helping you?
I think the writing aspect I was missing a lot before, because I was more just focused on my other activities with language learning, and I was like, oh, why would I need to write? I'm not going to write when I'm talking to someone. But it helps definitely, because in the beginning it's hard to think in your target language, but when you start realizing like, oh, okay, I can write this sentence because I know these words, so you write the sentence. It helps with when it's Spanish from like another Romance language where the grammar is pretty much the same. But like I'll write out phrases that I'm gonna say for my videos, and I'll recite them to myself, practice a little bit, and then I realized that like it's a good practice to do, because you start to realize what words you're missing too in your sentences. Like I'll write out a word and be like, oh, like I don't know, after when I put it in a sentence it makes more sense to me, and then I will when I'm repeating it to myself, it'll kind of click in my brain a little bit more. And then when I hear the word in context in podcasts or whatever, if just listening through stuff that's interesting to me, I find I'll remember that word a little bit. I know I've heard it before. Maybe if I don't know the meaning, it'll come back to me. And that's another way of kind of slowly increasing your vocabulary. And it's good to get your brain in that Spanish speaker native your target language.
Yeah, I like the videos because of that, because I like a repetition. It works for me because with the repetition, in the end, it kind of sticks. Yep. And it's less difficult to remember certain words, especially in Polish that has nothing to do with any other language. Actually, I know more Romance languages and than English and a little bit of German, but I'm not very good. I think my plan for next year is to keep studying Polish, but I want to brush up on my German too. And let's see. I don't know. What are your plans? So you want to start learning Portuguese, right?
Right.
Will you add that to the other? You keep studying the other languages too, learning the other languages?
Yeah. So the plan is I'm gonna study Portuguese only for the 6 months up until my trip, and then for 3 months I'm gonna really focus on Italian because I want to be at a comfortable conversational level where I can just talk with anyone without thinking too much and be able to ask questions and do everything that I'll need to do and want to do when I'm there. But
wait a moment, I missed that. Where are you traveling? Where are you going to?
I'm going to Italy. So,
to Italy, that's right. Okay. Oh, tell me about this trip.
Yeah, so it's going to be a pretty amazing trip. I'm really grateful for it. And we're going to be going to pretty much all the major cities in Italy. So like, Venice, Naples,
Rome and Venice and Milan.
Yeah, all the I don't know about Milan, but maybe we'll see.
Milan.
Yeah. So after I get back from my trip, I think that'll probably be the end of my Italian. In terms of it won't be the end. I don't want to say the end, but like, I'm not gonna focus on it much. I'm gonna move on a little bit. And I'm going to focus on Spanish, Portuguese, and I probably for another year or so. And I'd like to get another year, maybe 2. I don't know. We'll see how much I get into both of them and how difficult it is to differentiate. I can't even say that word.
Differentiate.
That's right. Different. But yeah. So So that's what I'm going to be doing.
Okay.
So I might spend another year or 2. We'll see how long it takes to learn them both to a good level. Because definitely would love to go to Brazil and.
Yes. Oh yeah, of course. Need to visit us here. Everybody here people want to meet you. Maybe a meetup, right? And what about? So I think we have a few minutes left here. Tell us a little bit about Christmas, where you live. Sure. And your plans, maybe, and at the end of the year, New Year's Eve.
Yeah, my plans aren't too special because unfortunately here in Canada, at least for my job and my mom's job also, it's very Christmas time. We're in the customer service industry, so that means that we don't get much Christmas off, but we do get 2 weeks. I get 2 weeks off from school anyway, and I won't be working full-time, so that means I'll have a little more time to relax and spend time with family, which is always important, both family. And otherwise than that, it's just nice to have time off, and I definitely plan on spending more time on languages and just relaxing in general, kicking back and maybe hanging out with some friends also. Because life gets in the way a lot of the time, and it's hard to maintain relationships and do everything else. So it's definitely a good time of year for all that. And I plan on spending too much money on gifts for people, and for New Year's Eve, I don't really have any plans exactly, but we will see. I plan on getting in contact with my friends from the area.
Nice.
And we will probably figure out something to do. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
That's so cool.
What do you guys do in Brazil?
Yeah, well, I am a quiet person too. I will spend Christmas with my family, which right now it's a small family. Many relatives have moved to other states, and it will be just my family here. And yeah, we just stay together on Christmas Eve and Christmas. On the 25th, we're going to have lunch together. That's it. And I don't know, it's kind of quiet for me. But for people, of course, there is New Year's Eve. There are fireworks in the big cities, in Rio, right? It's beautiful there. Yeah, they should spend New Year's Eve there in Rio. It's mostly that, you know. People are kind of religious. People go to church. There is the midnight mass, right? And I think that's it. People like to celebrate it. Yeah. And then spend time together with relatives always, right?
Yeah, it sounds more similar than it is different. So yeah, that's a lot on here too. Definitely the midnight mass. I'm not religious myself, but it definitely does. My other side of the family is religious, but they don't.
Okay, Nick, thank you so much for joining. Yes, it was really cool to be talking to you. I wish you can do more more times in the future. And I wish you good luck with your study. Oh, well, actually, good luck. When people wish me good luck, I think luck is not, you know, it's the least I need here. I need to study and practice more than luck. But anyway, Happy New Year to you. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, right? And I wish you a year full of learning language, successes. Yes, and
Feliz Navidad.
Yeah, here in Brazil it would be Feliz Natal. Feliz Natal.
I like that.
Yeah, and Feliz Natal is very good because it's not the Feliz Natal, right, with the English L, but Feliz Natal. And they're pronouncing it perfectly well. That's good.
I like that.
E Feliz Ano Novo.
Feliz, one more time.
Ano Novo.
Feliz Ano.
Yes, it's long. Feliz. Ano Novo. Yes.
Feliz Ano Novo.
Ano Novo. Good job. Feliz, happy, merry, feliz, happy. Ano, year, like in Spanish, and novo, like in Spanish. Novo, new.
Funny, because I understood it, of course, because context and everything, but... Yeah.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad is in Spanish, right? So, how do you say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in all the languages you know?
Ooh, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Joyeux Noël, bonne année, je crois. Bon an, en fait, j'utilise pas très souvent.
Bonne année, oui.
Bonne année, je pense. Joyeux, je sais pas, mais I don't know this kind of.
In Italian,
Buon.
In Italian, I don't know. I don't remember. I think I know, but I don't remember.
Buon anno, something like that. I'm not sure actually. But,
in Polish. Oh my God. Rocco. I don't remember. It's a very long. 3 very long words. I need to practice, right?
Yeah.
I think I'll make a video.
Definitely.
To record that.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, we've got 30 seconds here. So thank you again a lot. Thank you everybody who joined. And follow Nick because he's a very good example to follow. He studies every day. He's very excited about learning languages. He's doing a great job. I love him. Love you.
Muito obrigado.
De nada. Muito obrigada.
Igualmente. I don't know how to say it in Portuguese, but likewise.